What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Gaia Gang checking in from Denver, Colorado. With Kimmy, she just told me how to say it. I said Kimimila, but how do you say your name?
Mila,
That's how
Kimimila.
Kimimila. Okay, I would say it wrong, but I call you Butterfly because of your naming ceremony. But we'll get to that. Okay. So I don't have fuego fire on me. I had saved ready to burn. I burnt it this morning, but with the stove. You are a Lakota woman. You ready to go? Stay ready to keep from getting lethal. If you want to open this ceremony, sacred like protection with the Lakota way that you understand. I always like to see other people's
Mm,
prayers or offerings. Since you are of that a pillar in the community here in Denver, Colorado, for the Lakota people
thank you.
as a
Yes,
woman.
yes.
Yes.
So I did bring some sage. Um, I offered some tobacco before we did this just to help me. We always need that help. So um, I'm gonna smudge. O tunkashila wakantaka. We chose ani woke wo lakota wakia. Tunkashila, I want to give thanks for this day. Give thanks for Mother Earth. Give thanks for all the things that I've been through to allow me to be here right now. I want to say thank you to Gia Gang for having me here and to allow a safe place to share, to help the people that need to hear this. I also want to say a prayer for all of our children, health and help to them, protection for them. I want to say a prayer for our women who are struggling, having a hard time. I ask that they be comforted and protected, and for our people, for our men as well, for the people that are homeless on the streets, in hospitals, sickly, and just for my family and community, for the people around the world. Say a good prayer for them and give thanks for all of the blessings that come. Put protection out there for me, my family, and the world so that we can continue to move forward in a good way. Omi tapiase.
Oh my God, yes. All my relations. Thank you, thank you. Pelame, I say it wrong. It means thank. I also thank you in Lakota, right? Pelame.
Pila. Wopila.
Wopila, gratitude, but wopila, pilame is like also a thank you, right? For that, you
Yep.
taught me that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Gracias. So we're live here. And with I like how you said it. It was like with the Spanish accent, Gaia Gang instead of Gaia. That's kind of cool because it's how they pronounce it down there. I just got back from Mexico, as most of y'all been seeing, and learned a lot of indigenous ways from the Mexica and Mayan. I did a Temazcal, which is a sweat lodge different from Lakota. It's a feminine sweat lodge. They use volcano rocks.
Right.
Different from Lakota is masculino. Right, the stones are different stones, and it was a magical, different experience too. I don't like to make comparisons from cultures, but it was interesting that they honored the divine feminine rather, like through this feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl, rather than the Kashula and grandfather stones and all the. I've sweated with you up there in Colorado in the mountains, and like many times, and when we're doing that up there, what is it that I know what I'm doing? I want to hear a woman's perspective because you outside on the other side, we're over here. Like, what is your intentions when you crawl into this to the sweat for 4 rounds of really caliente hot?
So, for me, this way of life is sacred, and this walk is very sacred. So, it's about pure humility, humbling myself to learn more about myself It's also having respect for not only me, but the people that are in prayer around me. And also, helping them as well, because that is one of the protocols for our women, to make sure that we're completely covered. We cover our shoulders, we wear a skirt to, our ankles, because
Mm-hmm.
visual. And the sweat in the beginning wasn't for women, because we have our monthly cycle every month. So the sweat in the beginning was for our men, to help them
Mm-hmm.
cleanse. Now, in time, with things, with life now, it's come to a place where we, us women, need that help even more. We need that extra help. So when I'm there, it's about respecting myself, but also respecting our men, because it's very important that we cover ourselves to help them, because women are beautiful. So we have to remember why we're there. We're there to um ask for what we need, and get answers, and also to just wipe off anything that's been, lingering on us. So for me, if I've been having a hard time, a sweat always helps me, um, rejuvenate myself. It rejuvenates me. It wipes all of this negative, anything that's been kind of cloud over me. It helps me in my walk. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it's very sacred, very beautiful, and um I keep it close to my heart in that way.
I know you do. I've heard you speak in the talking circles, and like you're like a dang near psychologist. When I tune in, like to what you're saying, it's like I know who your teachers are and mentors and people. Also, their minds, and I highly value their wisdom. You're a lot closer to them than I am. So when we're in talking circle, a talking circle is an open group where we pass around the talking stick, and everybody gets to share about what they're going through, traumas, trials, tribulations, dramas, and we get to help each other altruistically. Be there as a community in a Lakota way, help everybody with you know generosity is one of the virtues of Lakota. So it's beautiful, but I always tune into you extra like hyper focused because you have such a deep profound message beyond who you are or your appearance, beyond like your earrings, like what you embody in the rojo red camino of the Lakota way, and inside you are at powwows, you do all the stuff, you're out there with the um Lakota way healing center putting in work with the good feather. um honorable man in the community that is globally doing big major impacts for y'all. I love him dearly. I read his book. I had it yesterday. Think Indigenous, like Doug Goodfeather. It's on Amazon. You can order it. Um,
Shirt,
also,
not all
she
warriors are human.
Kimimila has a t-shirt company, and it's all about her ways that we're gonna find out now. We're finna get into that. I'm gonna post it in the comments later. Y'all can check it out. I got a copy the whole HOKA shirt. So
Yeah.
you have it? Hey,
Um,
HOKA.
I made that shirt, and me and Doug, we are always thinking about different things that we can do to create, and polka is one of those things, those words. It's like, come on, let's go. I'm always telling our daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And so we just put it on a shirt, and I really love that shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts. I actually wore it the other day, so I wasn't able to wear it today, but it's on the picture. So, you
You know what?
know,
Yeah, it's on
huh?
the picture y'all see. You know what's funny about that word is one of my mentors in New Zealand. He's a Maori indigenous, which is the Lakota indigenous tribes of New Zealand. And you see all things going on down there. If you see, you know about the president and all the stuff. But and the big not riots, but like protests in the streets for their rights are getting erased from humanity, just like the Lakota way or any Native American way or Mexica or Mexican way in the US. The truth has been told and conditioned for us to believe, but I see more when I've been rolling with y'all. Um, no, like if it came to the apocalypse at the end of the world, I want to be with y'all. Y'all are my familia, you know. Yeah, yeah. So I feel safe, I feel protected in a safe and protected sacred environment that like we know how to survive, like you know, like in the woods. Like a lot of people, like I start fire with a stick. I did my 1 month thing where we backpack through the woods and stuff, and like everyone has their offerings to like from the original primordial the tribal ways which we come from. And it's very women have a very powerful offering. You actually chick did this. I know what she was doing earlier. She's a mechanic.
Oh, yep, yep.
Yeah, she was fixing her own car. How about that?
Yeah.
How many y'all males out there know how to fix your own engine in your car? Or you out here talking mess on these women?
We need more women to be doing those things for themselves, you know. But all it takes, you know, is to believe in yourself. That's it. And tools.
Yeah, tools. Yeah, we need tools. But
You know,
metaphysical tools are also a thing too. Yeah.
for me though, with this specific project that I'm about to start, you know, I do need my half side, you know, especially in our Lakota way, we call our significant other our half side because one doesn't walk above the in front of the other. We walk side by side, and I'm not whole without him. He's not whole without me. So we call each other our half side, and that's our Lakota way too. But
Are you talking about the half side within or a physical human?
I'm talking about within, you know,
Yeah,
like so.
that's what I feel. Yeah.
But I mean, I come from a man too, so there's for us, one of our philosophy, like what we believe is we're not whole without the other. So we call our significant other instead of my husband, my companion, I use my half side. That's one of the
Yeah.
things that and I call him to because that's how I feel, and that's kind of how I was raised in this way. But within being my own mechanic, there's things that I physically can't do, so I call on him to help me because I need his strong shoulders and his arms, and his back. So there's things
Yeah.
that his help with, and I pride myself on being able to take care of things for myself, but I still need his help, and that goes hand in hand, with this
You know
walk.
what's funny? For me, it's the opposite. I call him the divine feminine because, like, okay, so when you look into like any shamanic culture, like Japanese or Eastern, they all the even in Mexico, like all the shamans, male shamans, before they were passed down wisdom to be that, a woman had to give them that gift. Even same with the Maori people down in New Zealand. A woman always has to give you the blessing, the rites of passage, and that's why you see someone wearing robes, looking androgynous. You know.
Love that. I love that, and I really love that you're going and finding a lot of culture and seeing it um how it connects with you. You know what I mean? And you speak about it. So you are telling and informing people, this is where I learned this. This is where I learned this.
Mm,
Because
thank you.
you in your heart you're spiritual, and this is where I think it's really important, because we're all born with spirituality. We're not born with religion, you know,
No, 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 it's man-made.
spirituality. And what I mean by that is when we're infants, we come out of our mother's womb, we're pure. We're
Mm.
pure of heart, we're pure of our mind. And that's why a lot of times if you're observing a baby, they're looking up and they're looking at stuff, and so you're looking to see what they're looking at. And most of the time people are like, oh, they're just dazing off, they're dozing off, but no, they're seeing that other side because they just came from a very spiritual place inside
Right.
a mother's womb. So we come connected and with life. So our auras are open when we're infants, just like animals. They're open. And with life, it starts to shut it down. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
kid and they'll say, "Oh, mom, look at that," and their mom's like, "Oh, I don't. There's nothing there," and down.
They're tapped in already before.
We start to shut that down for our kids, at a young age.
Yeah, like
Um,
7 years old maybe.
so I've always tried to tell our daughter, "Oh, what do you see? Ask the question. What is it that you see over there? Have her describe
Yeah.
it to me, and I'm like, wow, so that I don't shut anything down for her. I open it back up, you know.
You know what's the best part about doing ceremonies? Like when we did which one? Besides sweat, there's the Wopila ceremony, or where we go upstairs and we can't really talk about what happens inside.
That's a UEP ceremony.
Are you okay? Yeah, my favorite part of that is the children, man, because they said they're all, especially the little girls. You hear their voice because they're higher, like won't be la, and because they see what's going on, the beauty in there, man. And I don't want to talk about that. It's just like chispa, chispa, chispa.
It's an example of what I'm saying exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the embodiment and the energy of inside quantum physically is what Doug taught me when we were after a sweat. I was like, answer. I was like, so what? How do you prove this to like a basic human? Quantum physics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
our people are very scientific, and you know as Doug would say, there if we would have continued on this road of spirituality, we would have surpassed where we are right now, and a lot of people don't have that capacity to understand that, but it's true, and so dialing back, um our ways have also saved my life,
Me
and
too. Me too. Like, tell me in for real. Like, AA couldn't do it. I had to go with y'all.
I
Yeah.
mean, I even in the time that we've known each other, I mean, I've seen you bloom, and
It's vice versa. Like, thank you. Thank you.
sorry, I'm at home in the backyard. I wanted to be out in nature, but it's a
Nice.
little city.
I love that for you to make more better in nature always. You can stay grounded outside for me while I'm indoors. Well, it's like you're embodying the divine feminine of outdoors. I'll be the indoor masculine, whatever you want to say. Okay, so back to we were talking about the children. Like the voices have been silenced for way, 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 way too long of women, especially indigenous women, native women, and all types of other women in general, just all for many regions, muchas cosas. And the children, I witnessed a ceremony after Sweat Lodge. Can we talk about that? I will introduce a little bit. Um, it's a Lakota Native American naming ceremony, and this is like the biggest honor you can get. To me, my perspective is getting you going through your naming ceremony, and dude, I like had little tears in my eyes when it was happening because your daughter, Red Star Nation, she's the descendant, the one that's gonna carry on the truth, and you get to teach her that, and that's beautiful. And all these other children around the Ninos around the world um, are getting conditioned by public schooling and this and that. But now the time is now to change that. But we got to do that ourselves. You do that yourself with your child, right? I don't have a child, so like I just do it with others whenever I can. I love children. My brother PD works with them down in Mexico and teaches them sacred geometry, like in the kindergarten.
That's
I
awesome.
never got taught that. They're also Duolingo when fucking excuse my language speaking Spanish better than me. Like at like 3 years old. Like a full grown man.
It's so true though, because our what I've learned by being a mom is my daughter's been one of my biggest teachers.
Yeah.
Continues to teach me all the time. I mean, it blows my mind. And my daughter is also um what helped me move into my sobriety, and
Mm.
it really it hits me hard in my heart because she was a part of saving my life, and if it wasn't for her and just her heart and her coming into my life, her being a borrowed spirit to me, because nothing belongs to me,
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
this is mine, this is mine. She's borrowed to me. And so I pray every day for her protection. And I know that she's protected. I pray
Right.
and I say thank you every day for her life, because it's changed me. It's changed me, but it also showed me who I am, you know. So I tell her all the time, I'm like, you are one of my biggest teachers. And in her school, when I talk to her teachers, I'm like, you guys have to also remember these kids are teaching you,
Yeah.
they
Remain
might be,
teachable.
but they're also teaching you. So it's important for us as adults to humble ourselves and remember that these little ones have a lot of knowledge to teach us to continue to move.
Right. And I've noticed Red Star, like she's one of the biggest shiners for me of abundance of just energy and just joy and the curiosity of a child, like looking at the estrellas, or like you're saying, or the stars, or whatever the star people are like, what are you seeing up there? Like the curiosity hasn't been cut off yet. And I noticed this in D-Town Custom Jewelry in Dallas. My friend who owns the shop, his kids were there the last day before I returned and regressed to Denver, right? And I just wanted to chill with them. Like his little daughter was so intelligent, and the little boy, the daughter especially though, she was speaking words like I didn't even know. They're talking about things I don't even know. Like how are you so smart at them freaking 9 years old or whatever? Like I was sitting there learning all this stuff. So I see clarity like what you're talking about through other people's children, and so like that leads into like protecting the children, and you're definitely a double protector of that. So, but it goes into the fact that she is a young girl. You're a mother, a woman, a warrior, a warrior woman named. And I saw you and your daughter both get named in that ceremony. I can't really talk about it because it's sacred. It's just beyond words of beauty in nature, and colors that you can and not even imagine. Um, so there was one thing that led to the motherly part, like to not stay silenced about many things, muchas cosas. Like, can you talk a little bit about like it's almost shadow work, like you're revealing some of your shadows, like you see the image of who you are, and like I was saying, like you've been through some things in your life that made you the way you are, and your story is your power, and your power you can alchemize into joy, happiness, or teaching, or learning, or whatever you decide, right?
Right.
Um, but there's a lot of pain, strife, struggles, traumas, and things that happen to you along your journey, just like me, but I'm not a woman, so I need you to speak up for the woman if you're willing to. Like the silencio needs to be demolished now. For whatever higher purpose message is said, especially the women need to speak up.
It's true, and I think that a lot of times, um, just things that I've been through in my life, patterns that I've looking back as a woman that is on my sobriety path, it wasn't always that way. And I think that a lot of times, it's actually not a lot of times, it's all the time. Our children are looking at us. They're looking to us to show them the right way.
Mm,
And because of our own, our generational trauma, because of what generational trauma has done to our families, there's abuse in the homes, that leads to relationships that are abusive, that leads to alcohol abuse, drug
mm,
abuse, all of these things that most of us have experienced at one point in our life, which is really sad that our women, probably 99% of our women have in some way, shape, or form experienced abuse. through men. And
Right,
this
right. And I think I've also experienced the same and vice opposite. Like, but for me, like, I'll speak on that at another time. You
it goes
know,
both ways, and if there's men that need to hear this, this is messages for you as well. You know, abuse isn't just for women, but I know for myself, um because I didn't love myself, you know, I accepted really bad behavior,
mm,
and I started walking into that kind of behavior and becoming that bad behavior. So not only was I abused, but I was also abusive as well. So it was both. And
right.
so
You know, on your side of the street, and that's all you can do. We can't blame the other person. It's a toxic bond attachment that's difficult to get out of, very difficult. So, Master Cecilia, how did you get out of that? The bond of the beauty of the darkness and the toxicity. Sometimes, like, I fall in love with the toxicity in the Pasado Pass.
yeah, and there's that too. It's really interesting because within what I was going through, I also had to remember that my daughter was watching me.
Mm,
I was picking up on a lot of things that were happening, even though I tried to disguise them and I tried to hide them, and I still showed up for this and I still showed up for that. I was still available. I wasn't as available as I am now, but those were teachers that I needed to go through, and I understand that now. And so in the moment of going through that, um, you know, it it was uh it was always my spirit, my inner spirit, my conscience. People would call it your conscience, your spiritual guide, who my intuition as a woman always led me in the right direction, but it was me up here that went the other way.
well, you
And it
know
showed
what?
so many times.
You're talking about the other way, like this way, that way, underway, like all directions. Like they always tell us take the straight way from the man or whatever who taught us, or woman who taught us at the start. But like even when you become awoken into a spiritual realm of understanding, like it's still not a straight way. Like there's angles, there's catacombs, there's turns, there's shadow work. There's always work to be done. uh it's something I've noticed. Like the path is never straight, but
Well,
it's in balance. Like if you look at the yin yang, it has that little right.
it's constant work that you have to do, but you work on yourself constantly, so it's not that it's a straight line that you have to walk, because I don't walk my life for perfection. I walk my life for fulfillment. Am I being fulfilled in my life? Am I fulfilling myself? Are the choices that I'm making fulfilling me? Are the people that I'm surrounding myself with fulfilling me? Am I happy? You know,
Mm.
am I making good choices that are not only affecting me in a good way, but affecting the people that I love and the people I walk around? Are they being affected in a good way? I'm constantly going through different trials and tribulations that I have to figure out, and when I trust this, it
There's
works a
nothing.
lot when I trust this, because this is, I get frustrated, I get angry, I get sometimes into that mental state that I used to be at, you
Right,
know.
right. Very familiar. Like, welcome. What's that song? Darkness, my only friend, or whatever. Like, but I see what you're saying. So it's like the mindset is like it's in reversal. After I got from Mexico, I learned even more about like everything's been reversed in up here in the USA. Native, it's similar to Mexica. Like it comes from the ground up, not the brain down. So that's the energy intuition. I trust my intuition before it hits the chakra system to my throat chakra, so before I can even think to speak it. So like I see what you're saying, and women's intuition by science has been told that it's much more intuitional. Like we were talking about shamanic women handing down the gifts of passage of rights is much more fuerte and intelligent than a man's.
Well, that was one of my teachings, when I learned to really listen to myself and to move into that. That's when my life became better, and there was quite a while um where, oh, thank you. Thank you. I got gifted a blanket.
Hey, what up? Whoa, whoop it up.
Um, there was where was I? There was there was times in my life. So when I was really having a hard time, I was dealing with I was in a marriage for 10 years, and
Dang,
it
a
was
long time.
it was hard because I wanted family, but the family that I was striving for was never going to be the vision of what I wanted it to be. So a I was battling an uphill battle that was never going to be. I
In
was never going to find
alignment, unionize.
it was really but that was a choice that I was making because I didn't grow up with my family together. I grew up with parents that were divorced, and it was still I still had loving parents, but I wanted to give my daughter that, but
Mm,
because I was striving for something that wasn't meant to be,
yup.
I was in turmoil all the time. And it was to deal with my turmoil, I was drinking, I was using. And so throughout that, I would pray and I would ask the spirit, and I wasn't, going to ceremony at that time. And I would
Mm,
ask the spirit, I said, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? Why can't I be happy? And the spirit showed me. They showed me something in my mind, and they showed me a fork in the road. And what was told to me, not in like a human voice, but within my spirit, was that I could stay on this path with this man and maybe not survive and be, and succumb to this lifestyle, or I could break away and I could be happy.
yeah,
But to
break the chain.
break away and be happy seems so much harder than what an outsider looking in, just leave, or make it, just figure it out. It never seems inside, it doesn't feel as easy as on the outside. But when I made that choice to get sober, and I made that choice to give my daughter a better life and to go back to our Anipi and pray, my life changed. I got sober. I started
Right.
teaching my
And
daughter.
that's beautiful. And in the ways that I received teachings in Talking Circle at Fort Winds Church, it's like different. And for me, there was no shame, no guilt. Like even me being of the appearance that I may be, I was accepted genuinely and generosity, generalistically. I don't know, generosity all over, like just welcomely accepted with a pure open heart. But I was kind of scared at first. Shout out to Eagle, him, see Eagle to say, trying to keep it as anonymous as possible. He was the one who brought me there. Um, but yeah, I always learned a lot by listening to you. And obviously others. And Margarita, who we worked on with Beyond Your Impossible, she's a heavy hitting female. Um, who she goes deep, and she's like a birth doula, like the spiritual term for like she can take people through journeys and meditations through her black hole ceremonies of meditation, where she's a woman that can take you through rebirth into like a phoenix or whatever you want to describe it, into your childlike state when you're reborn into this little meditation. It's so beautiful. And knowing she's of the Lakota lineage is just keeps me happy. Like I learned those lessons, and it's of like what I'm unionizing my divine feminine with, right? And actually, I was engaged once. I can't really relate to marriage. I was engaged. That didn't last as long as I desired it to, but I'm glad. But I got this ring. It's a turquoise ring. Like I dropped a stone in Mexico, so it's serving its purpose in the tierra. I got that ring at the Lakota Way Healing Center. It was like a little fiesta of shops and stuff and jewelry, like your earrings and rings and shirts, like your
Okay,
what?
the arts and crafts sale.
Arts and crafts one, yeah. Like before I left to Mexico, I got that as a reminder because when I went through. being just engaged. It's like, the Lord of the Rings, the precious. Like this ring became so it's just freaking ring. It was so powerful that I declared ownership over somebody. It made me feel real uncomfortable. It's like you said, we don't own anything. Like I don't own this woman just because I have a ring on my finger.
Well, I
This
think
ring.
that's where we get lost,
Mm,
because as girls, before you're women, you're watching little girl movies and you're seeing little princesses and they're growing up and getting married and you're thinking, that's the kind of life that I want. That's what the fairy tale is.
right.
Not all women think the same, not all girls have the same vision, but you know, a lot of times in this Western culture, you need to be married, to have a family and for society to respect you. But what I've learned from the marriage that I had was the the where I'm at now in my relationship means more and it feels more connected without a title. And that's not really our way. It's not our way to sit there and put a piece of paper that says
Yeah.
yours and you're mine. In my heart, the man that I am with, that's my companion. He's my heart. We
Right.
do for each, and in his heart, it's the same. So as long as we're on the same page, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks because my heart is my husband. But because there's not a control, we don't have a controlled relationship. We have a respected relationship. It hits different, you know. A
You
lot of times,
did you consciously uncouple, right?
what?
Did you consciously uncouple and y'all are still cool? Obviously, is what you're saying, right? Or no, am I wrong? Have you heard
Un-
that?
with who?
Consciously uncouple.
What is that?
That means I'm highly aware of how to let this person go or push them away for as long as I need to get right with myself so I can, with kid or not, still support them because the love is always there. And the way it's with boundaries that are respected.
Oh no. No, no. I was talking about like so I was comparing the marriage to the relationship I have now. Like the relationship without a tie, like marriage, means more to me than the marriage did because it was never respected. Does that make sense?
Totally, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just it's the respect level that I have for myself and that he has for me that actually I've never experienced in my life. So now that I'm able to experience that, it's an eye opener and it's a game changer. It feels so freeing to be in a relationship where you actually respect one another and you can move without control. A lot of times in relationships, you're controlling each other, all their moves, knowing every move they
Mm.
make, don't do this or don't do that. And I don't live like that anymore. I live
Nah,
freed environment, and it's how my spirit wants me to live.
yeah, free mind, and that's the thing is sometimes like we people like us people so we get attached to other people's dreams and desires and they are not necessarily aligned or unionized with mine, and I got to be very aware of that. And I've learned lessons through that. It could be just with a friendship with a man or a woman or a homeboy or homegirl. It doesn't even matter how you label them. But what you're getting into is about the marriage part and the paper and the documents and all this. I don't know if there's a Christian thing or Catholic thing or what, but or government thing, but that's like it's not really necessary. I agree with you on that. It's like if the energy aligns and it's unionized and you're sacredly like feel safe in this person's presence all the time, like and you can work things out simply, then you know when you know. And it's like that's with any human. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. And That's the the like the filth in the dirt, the beautiful part in the dirt. It's that we now are conscious because we got out of our addictions way more to work through these awareness of these toxic bonds and patterns and break through them, right?
Well, I think it's really important to be able to show our younger generation what healthy looks like by example, because a lot of time, within my upbringing, within a lot of, even my half sides upbringing, we had to get ourselves healthy to be where we're at right now. Our daughter and our other kids what healthy looks like, because a lot of times we're shown what healthy looks like, but it's actually not healthy, and so you see how our kids are struggling. Like I see how the kids are struggling in even my daughter's school. They're very angry. They're
Yeah, why is
destructive.
that?
It's because of how they're being raised, and
Social
I
media,
can't,
phones, do you think that's a lot to do with it?
I think that it all has a part to play, but I think for me the most important thing was to give our daughter a chance to have a good life, because I've seen, not only in my own life, how my childhood, shaped how I moved, and I made bad decisions because of things that I didn't know. So I really try to instill core values, we try. And she has that support of a man, and it's very important for our children to have equal support of their mother and their dad, and so there's a lot of times where maybe the dad's MIA and so they suffer, or the mom's MIA and so they suffer, and we have, like I said, half side, we both have a responsibility to teach our kids different values. I can't teach our daughter how to be a man, how to be strong, or how, the things that he can teach her, I can't teach her those things. And I can do my best, but I'm still not a man, and he's not a woman. So, going back to, our daughter really being able to, I've seen her bloom, in these ways, our Lakota ways. They're a big reason why she's the way she is today, and it goes back to culture. It goes back to spirituality. And you know, that's how it was back in the day.
Right, right. And like back in the day, it's like I do my best to like eat indigenously primordially eat like back in the day you just pick fruits and off the trees or out the ground, veggies, it's all there. You know, we didn't have Whole Foods across the street or whatever. Like we had to figure that out ourselves back then. I didn't live back then, so I couldn't tell you, but I
In a modern world,
yeah,
it's modernized, you know, and
mm,
we
the
have to do our,
colonizer, yeah. It's,
to show our children. Our daughter just had a honoring ceremony this last weekend, and that was really beautiful because she's come um into that precious time that she's a young woman now.
do you know
And so
what day was that?
Saturday.
Oh, okay, okay. Saturday. I was wondering because I was trying to link some things like because Margarito was at one temple in Mexico City, outside of Mexico City, and I was at a different temple in a temple de Quetzalcoatl. And at the same time, I was hoping it was aligned with that. It was like what, you know? But
Sweat lodge. So, and it was actually just a woman's sweat. So it was really beautiful. It was
yeah,
really,
yeah, that's
um,
awesome. We need more like not even just sweats, but like I did a in the jungles in Mexico. I did a men's ceremony. Just men. Like we get to talk men stuff without worrying about what I think it's gonna cause harm to a woman if I say something wrong, you know? Um and we can just express ourselves freely as a man without vulnerabilities or insecurities, and it's a powerful thing. I can't imagine what it would be like for a woman's like retreat type of thing.
yeah. And, I think it's also important to have, like, we were kind of talking about talking circle. I think it's kind of gonna be one of those things that's gonna be important moving forward, to have a safe space for our women for talking circle, because I know that there's women that want to share certain things, but they're still healing, you know, and they might
Mm,
not say talking about these things in front of men because they um you
I
know,
see
men
that.
are the what they're still healing from, you know. And I think it's also important for our men to hear these things, but I think it's important to have a safe space for our women to express these things so that they can let it out.
Yeah, without getting judged by a man or profiled, or like it goes even deeper. You already know
Yeah.
that part. So yeah, that's the beauty in stag circles. Um, so yeah, so I really enjoyed hearing that Red Star is shining like a star and leveling up in the community, and she's gonna be a major impact in the I believe like a global impact in this world someday, because you're her mom and I know the wisdom that you embody. From my understanding, my perspective of what I've seen over the past 4 years maybe, and circle here and there, except when I'm in Mexico, and like and all the sweats, the powwows, and things. Um, so this goes into like still like for me, just in general, woman or man, like people are holding their silence. They're silencing their voice for some reason. Whatever they activated that's not activated, they need to must find that to speak their truth within first before they can speak freely without just projecting toxic bullcrap on everybody in the energy field of the room, right? And
It's true.
yeah, and that's partially why I do this podcast. It's all free. I do what I got to do to make it happen, and then if whatever people can make money off of it, bless up. That's my generosity that I learned from Lakota. Like you give a $100 bill and then pass it to the next guy. Do you want to keep it or take it? Have you seen that video? And then they got, and then they go pass it to the next guy. And, no, 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 no. I'm gonna go burn it. Give it to the kid. The kid say, I don't know. Yeah, I'll give it to him. And then all of a sudden, the $100 bill becomes 9,000.
Right.
And then there's the guy at the end that has $9,000 in his hand, and it's like maybe it's a grandfather, an elder, an uncle, who knows, auntie, whatever, um, it may be. That person say, "I'm gonna keep it." That's the generosity. Maybe that person needed to keep it because they had to get a surgery for, or someone they knew had to get a surgery or something. Like we don't know. That's where
You
the
you see, you know, we'll be cruising around and you know, my half side will just he's always giving. You know this. You know, he's always giving.
oh
And
yeah, I seen you. Yeah.
so and everything he does is about giving, you know, and making sure that he's helping in some way, shape, or form. And just seeing somebody's face after they've been given something from him, they light up. You know, it gives people hope, you know, and that's
Mm.
what we, as people need to remember is to be in the solution, you know, because we live in fear. This keeps us stuck. Fear keeps us stuck. And when we can continue to find a piece of hope, you know,
Let me
and
challenge you on that. Let me challenge you on that. As Mike Tyson says, fear is not the enemy, it's our friend, it's our teacher.
so, you know, you can also say, Doug will say, you have two wolves, the good wolf and the bad wolf. Who do you
Mm.
feed? Feed them both,
Beat mode, yeah, almost, yeah.
you know, and that's a teaching from him. And, you know, it's important to be able to find balance because fear can also keep us safe, but fear can
Mm.
also keep us stuck. So finding that balance within yourself to know what is keeping me stuck or is this helping me? So it's within yourself. You know, we have to find out how to continue to move in a good way.
Yeah, they have all those acronyms. I just had one come to my head from somewhere. So fear, like face everything and rise, fuck everything and run. So when something just came to my head, let's see if I can remember it. So it was like um what's some news coming? Forever evolving. It can be anything. You can make up your own acronyms like um forever evolving, always returning, regressing. Home would be the last thing I would look at age, but always remembering. Okay, there it is. There's a new acronym. I just made it up. Hey, thank you. Wopia. It's all remembrance, right? What?
Said, let me help you out.
Okay, what you got?
What
You
do
have
I got
acronym
back?
for a fear, like make up your own fear acronym.
Oh man, I don't know. You can't put me on the spot.
Okay, yeah, that's too much pressure. My bad. Okay, yeah, I don't like pressure. I don't know pressure. Awesome.
You're me.
I respect your
You know,
boundary.
I was watching one of your podcasts, and
Thank you.
one of the, when I was going through a really hard time in my life, I would watch a lot of inspirational videos to help give me hope, to help
Right.
keep moving, to also understand that I wasn't the only one going through things.
Mm,
And remember that there was other women out there, other people out there that were having a hard time like myself, and how to with that. I really wanted to find a way to get healthy in my mind. And I was watching this guy, his name's Trent Shelton. You might know, have heard of him. I don't know, but he says to biggest thing is to protect your peace. And I was listening to your
mm.
podcast,
Oh,
and you
that one. Yeah.
said protect your peace, and that is how I always think, is this breaking my peace, or is this helping my peace? So in my walk, I am always trying to protect what makes me happy, and keep me there. So, I had heard you say that, and I just wanted to, and reiterate that, because so important for us to remember that we are the decision makers in our life. We forget that we are given free will.
Right.
Whether it be religion that takes that away, a significant other that takes that away, a parent that takes that away. We
Person,
are the
place,
decision
thing, whatever.
makers,
Yeah.
anything. You know, we are the ones that decide how our life is going to go. And so make good choices. Make choices that are going to help you be happy, you know. And there's going to be people along the way that don't always support that,
Yeah.
and
Right.
they might not even realize that they're not supporting it, because
Mm.
but we know, we have to make decisions that are going to set us up for greatness instead of setting us up for failure, because for
Yes.
so many years I sorry, I
I
made
salute.
decisions, and it's like patterns, patterns that were dysfunctional, and I was in this constant, it was like a hamster cage, like a hamster little like rolly
Like,
thing.
I'm going around. Yeah.
No, I was in different situations but doing the same thing. So insanity,
Straight
Um
up.
and it felt like insanity, making the same decision, expecting different results. You know,
Einstein.
yep, exactly. And so when I removed myself, I was able to look at things in a different way, in a different perspective. And even though I have done these things and I've done the work, I've had huge support. I've had a huge support system that is so important for me to make sure that I put that out there, because without my support system that I have, I wouldn't be the woman that I am. My daughter, my half side, my mom, my dad, my
Yes, yeah,
brother,
she's a powerful woman. Yes.
of sisters that I've created, my community of family that I've created are huge in my walk. So it's important for us to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with good people that support us in our greatness as well, you know.
Right, and it goes to the law of attraction where I vibrate, it's who I attract, what the tribe thing quote also, but I like this new phrase I've been hearing. It's like whatever's gonna happen next, it's gonna be full of greatness. Even if it's not, it's still greatness because it's a bounce back. I'm gonna learn from a lesson, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So like, or it's whatever happens that you place the word into your own creativity. Whatever's gonna, it's gonna next. It's always amazing. It's always beautiful. It's always one. It's just whatever you want to say, whatever it is, because we always are gonna get a gift from it. So everything's happening for us, right? Not at us, maybe through us, but
It's so true. I gotta go inside because I'm freezing out there. Oh my God.
it's that cold. Dang.
No, I'm not done. No. I'm gonna go up into my room. Hold on really fast. Sorry
No
about
worries,
that,
no
but
worries.
the wind's blowing and I'm like, oh man, I can't even deal.
Oh, what was the wind telling you to go to your room? It's time out.
Passion on yourself. Oh, podcast. Go. Shut the door, please. And that's that free. Yeah,
Yeah,
my dog and my biggest teacher right there. You know.
yeah. Both of those, the wind and your daughter and the dogs. My dog is one of my biggest teachers. Also, like I see reflections of my patterns, feel my perita. I'm like Dakota, like Lakota, Makota, Dakota. Like, why are you acting like that? I must be acting like that. Like, maybe wild one day she picks it up and jumps all over the couches.
Yeah, I mean, her personality is definitely it's calm and then it's like a storm, you know. So,
Mm.
mm, you know, I roll with the punches every day. I just go with the flow.
Yeah, I like riding. I like riding the wave. That's the thing. Like it used to be like go with the flow, but once I started surfing in Mexico, it's like the flow's already there. Let me ride it. Once you catch the wave, just keep coasting. And the chaotic stuff's gonna happen naturally because of nature. And it's like if you bail and wipe out, you can paddle back out and catch a new wave. It's an abundance. It's ever giving, forever evolving for us.
Well, and that's the teacher, you know. It's and that was the teacher for me for all of the things that I've been through, you know, even especially the hard stuff because within that wave, you know, you crash
Mm,
and you get back up and you go back out there and then all of a sudden after 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, all of a sudden now you're riding the wave because that wave has taught you how to figure it out. And that's also life. You know,
mhm.
we have to make mistakes in life. And especially for me, I am so stubborn and strong willed and independent that I had to go out into life and make these decisions that were hard. And, you know,
I get that.
and I had to go through my struggles because those were my biggest teachers. What do we learn when we don't have hard times? What do we really take from it? If you have an easy life and you've had no struggles, you've never experienced different situations, what are you learning? Where's your depth? You know, and it's
Where's
not
an
that you
open mind? Where's an open mind? Like these people may have experienced like different parts of trauma at a different level of depthness, but like where's the open mind? It's what I heard from that.
well, what I'm trying to say is that my I don't hold traumas. I don't hold scars, and that's also something that my companion, my half side, has taught me. Because what happens when we say, "Oh, I have a scar. I have a trauma." It's heavy. Now that has control of me, and I don't want that.
Yeah,
What now that scar that I have,
you gave it
that's
power.
that's a teaching. That was a beautiful teaching, and even though it was hard, it was one of the most powerful teachings.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right.
move through that and help somebody else. And he also
Mm,
says to me all the time, and you know, I mean, I learned so much from my half side. It blows my mind, but it's also this beautiful way. You know, he tells me that my teaching, and he shares this with the people, you know, our our everything that we've been through, our hard times, they're not just for us, they're for somebody else. And so that's really what this podcast why I was really grateful to be on this podcast is to, help people that have gone through things that I have gone through, because here I'm healing from all of that. And
Thank you very
the way
much.
I'm healing from it is in such a beautiful way, without shame and blame, without, my mind having this control over me that I can't even move, because sometimes our pain will literally paralyze us,
Mm.
to where we can't even move. And I've been there,
Right,
so I
like,
I wanted to share that, that we can overcome anything if we put our mind to our heart, and these are other people's teachings too. This is my half sides teaching that I'm also sharing with you guys, because it worked for me. It's helped me in my walk bloom. And as he said before, I was a caterpillar, and now I'm a butterfly.
a mariposa. Hey. Yeah, I like it. I like it. And whoever gave like, I remember seeing like when they were giving you the name, it was like calling from spirit, like, and how it was done. I can't tell it how it was done because it's sacred, but um, it was so beautiful how the name came out. Like, I thought you were going to be named what your daughter was named. It was going to be reversal, like, but it was like the opposite. It was like
So
it made
Kimimila
sense. It made
has
sense though. What?
Kimimila has been with me almost my whole life. I would say since I was probably about 4 or 5, that name was gifted to me, but it never came in a ceremony. It was just a name that came from my family.
Does it
And
have a meaning to it?
well, it was given to me when I was a little girl, by my mom and her half side at that time, who was a medicine man.
Mm.
And never we never had a ceremony for it. And so I wasn't sure what was going to happen, because I really love my name, but I also
I've never heard
um
that name. That's ever until you. Yeah, it's a really unique.
the spirits named me Kimimila Ziwi. So yellow butterfly woman is my name
Yeah,
that
that's
they
the
gave.
full one. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thanks for the remembrance.
Them incorporating that extra, the yellow. Yellow is rebirth,
Mm.
yellow is new beginnings, so, and at that time in my life I was going through that new beginning, rebirth.
Right.
So it was really it.
Wow, I see it. That's so much deeper now from seeing it for what it was. And you look on the medicine wheel, like there's the yellow, the white, the black, and the red. Like, so that's the yellow. You're going through the yellow transformation during that. Wow. That's so cool. It's Chilo, man. That's so much more of a deeper perception for me experiencing that. It's such an honor for you to like. I love that for you. It's an honor, such an honor for you and your child to carry that. And a lot of these messages I receive, like I found Lakota in Texas. Like I didn't even know they existed down. I thought it was just Comanche. And one of my best friends is half Lakota. You would never know because the colonization made her other half a lighter tone. And then my buddy's sister's dating a Lakota leader of like a it's like a res that has sweat lodge and all that stuff or whatever. Um, Going on over there. I never got to visit it. They invited me to it. It's like, dang, it's like remembrance. Like, you want to come to this ceremony at your sweat lodge? And I just didn't have time for it, man. It was like 2 hours away or something. And, I was busy down there. But, like, it was remembrance. Like, andale, let's get back to Colorado to those are my people. And that's the people I trust. That's my circle. I don't know these guys fully. Like don't judge a book by its cover, but I will in my head discern that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that that's part of, us as people. One of our downfalls is we look at each other and we judge each other, instead of embracing each other. Because I look around at our women too, and there's a lot of division. And it's because of, there's a lot of reasons for it, I think. But I think this is the time for us to connect with each other and to embrace
Yeah.
and each other. You know, it's important to be able to
Connection is everything.
be
Everything connection.
be that rock for somebody and be that ear for somebody and that shoulder without judgment, because it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. You know, and we all have a story and we
Right.
all have medicine to help each other with. So we have to really tune into that and
Mm.
give to each other, you know. So it's really important, you know, especially in this walk. We don't always have to see eye to eye, but be there to support each other, you know.
I like when we don't see eye to eye with people, because like like and what I've received in like in native cultures, maybe a different tribe, but it's all links together. The humanity as a human, it's like conflict resolution. Like tell me, like let me challenge you. Let's find the conflict resolution. Like
Yeah.
I accept your challenge. It's not an attack at me. You know what I mean? Like you tell me, so you point, if you pointed something bad at me and judged me for what I was doing, I'd be like, thank you. That means I got to look at myself.
Well, you know, there's times where, you know, somebody can point out some things within you, but it's up to you to decide what is for you to look at, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank
Sit
you for
there and
that. Yeah. That
throw daggers at you, and you know, it could hurt, but within that, it's up to you to decide, okay, I'm going to take that piece, and the rest is not for me. So I'm going to work on those two things because I resonated with those, but
mm,
you know, I'm going to keep moving, you know, and it's important to take what you feel responsible for and leave the rest, you know, because it gets too heavy. It gets too heavy if not, you know.
yeah. Like Bob Marley says, take a little, give a little, or give a little, take a little. In that song, it's I love that song. How much you gonna take? How much you get? How much do I need to take to give? How much do I? And then you can flip it, right?
Well, and it's important to also remember, you know, to be generous, but also to have boundaries. You know, these boundaries are what's
Yes.
helped stay so strong in my walk, because before I would let and allow people to really take advantage of me. And now, and that was something that I needed to go through, you know, so I could find my balance, right? Because if I never gone through that, you know, I wouldn't know what I know. So, you know, in my walk now, I give, but it's also so important to reciprocate, you know. So
Yes.
if I am not, if my, you know, I can give, so I think of it always as like the cup of water, right? And both of, maybe somebody's cup is lower than mine. So I'm going to pour some of my water in there, you know,
Yeah.
out, bring them up. But if I'm constantly pouring, I'm going to be empty. And who's going to fill my cup? I have to remember to fill my own cup, you know, take time for myself, do things for myself. And before I would be like, no, that's selfish, you know, but no, it's called self love.
Self
And
love.
that,
Yeah.
and
It's
that's so
like,
important.
dude, my mentor, my Dharma Punk mentor taught me that. He said, when I'm doing meditation, like F the world peacefully, like yeah, like silence my phone. That's selfish as can be. I need to meditate to fill my cup to get somebody some up. There's this famous psychologist out there. She's dead now, I think, maybe, or maybe alive in Austin, but she has this saying, and it was about the cup. It was like, but it's in percentages. It's like, let's say my cup's at 93% right now. You're at 27%. I could break you off maybe 27%, balance out the energy, and then move on to my day. Just in general connection.
Mhm.
But then you
But
apply that to in relationships with, or even deeper connections. I thought that was really cool. You know.
yep, it is, and it's really important to remember to ground yourself, you know, because
Mm,
give it back to the earth. Because sometimes, especially doing this work, sitting beside my half side in the work that he does, helping the people the way he does, there are people that come to me, and I love that, but I also have felt some of a piece of what he goes through, you know, and so it's important for us to remember to touch the earth. Can you get me a charger, please? To touch the earth, to reground and give back that energy that is too heavy, you know, because I'll literally feel it. I'll help listen to somebody give them feedback. A charger, please.
It's like an
And
androgynous intuition, huh?
well, I'll feel it. I'll just feel like exhausted. I'll feel
Oh, you're
exhausted. Done anything, you know?
yeah.
It's important to go and touch the earth and let all that energy, go back to because she can handle a lot better than I can.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, nature is the source of everything. Um, it gives us life. Gaia, the planet, Gaia, like I said, it gives us life. It is the life source that keeps us all alive. So, like, we could go to the sky, we could reach outside for things above, and yeah, the energy is beautiful. But the main thing is like, how are we gonna take the planet to the planet? How are we gonna preserve this for like the star nations of the children coming before after us after I die, like what are we teaching our kid the kids or other people's kids? What am I telling people right now that my kid might hear this that may cheese what spark their mind to want to find their purpose, like a
Yeah,
higher purpose, right?
yeah. It's planting those seeds,
Yes.
planting those
Yeah.
it could be a word, it could be a word, it could be an action, but it could be um as something as a small honoring ceremony that's going to plant a seed for that flower to bloom. And my half side is also my mentor, and I love that you said my mentor, because that is how I see him, not only as my companion, my equal, but my mentor because of all of the teachings he teaches me. Um Now I can help somebody else because I literally I don't feel like I was ever sleeping, but I definitely feel more aware of what my body is really telling me, and also like I'm listening. I'm listening. Before I wasn't listening. I didn't want to hear. And now I'm open to all of that. So it's really this it's all of it, it's how you walk in your life, how you respect yourself to respect others, how you treat yourself to treat others. Um and really being honest with yourself, and this way of going up and praying and humbling yourself, um, to ask the questions that are needed for my walk, things that I am confused about, I'll
Mm,
ask,
mm.
Tunkashala, help. I'm having a hard time. And most of the time, it's me in my own way, you know.
Right, and Takashila is the gift of God, basically. If y'all don't know what Takashila is, it's Lakota. But Takashila is so beautiful. It's the internal Camino, right? And it's like, I feel that I ask for help within first because I know myself more better than anything, anybody, and I'm very good at being internally delusional too. I'm highly aware of that. I can use it to my advantage. Like, they say Kanye West, he's delusional optimistic. It works for him, but is it our artistic way? It's almost similar to painting your inner Camino, right? Is that delusional for how I'm receiving his message? Like, I'm gonna
Well,
paint this.
sometimes I'm crazy, but that's part of who I am. So if you
Yeah,
can't the crazy piece of me, then it's gonna be hard for you to love the the other piece of me,
yeah,
because
like
it's
bring it. Like that's my thing. I've been saying it's like bring me your shadows when I meet me. Bring them right now. Like, let me see all your shadows on the table. I'll show you all my cards, and
there's a
you're
lot of
already accepted. It doesn't matter. Like,
it comes to a point where I don't need somebody else to accept me because I accept myself, and
exactly. Yeah,
I'm gonna walk and you know be respectful, but I have a crazy side of me that I also love,
it's an
you know
expression.
it is, and that crazy side of me gets shit done. Sorry, but it gets
Yeah,
things done.
that's
It gets
alchemy.
that's the drive within me, and I'll dance crazy, I'll talk crazy, I'll just feel this burst of energy come through me. I'll work on my own car. I started a company for myself back in 2018. It's my painting company. I have a interior, exterior commercial company.
Let's go.
It's
I've been
called
seeing that. Yeah.
Painting and Design. Check me out.
Check her
Um,
out. Yeah.
that
What what
started
what, what was the company called?
VIP Quality Painting and Design. So that's been up since 2018. And but I've
Nice.
been painting for 7 years, 8 years.
Okay.
Um,
So
but
that's I get the process of doing that because I owned my own HVAC company for about that amount of time, somewhere around there, and LLCs and all the processes with the governments and all this and that. It's a headache if you have LLC with that company or whatever. I even if not, I get that being your own boss, the dominion of your own company. If you're working with others, having to tell them what to do, I don't like that. Like they should know what to do, and if they don't know what to do, let me help you. Sometimes the people that I bring on my job site for HVAC construction, they know way more than I do, like
but
you said with the,
that's okay.
it's
There's
good, yeah,
always more than one way to fix something, and so somebody else can bring something in that works better than your way, and then you adopt it, just like we adopt people in our life. Can you get me that charger, please? Thank you, babe. Um,
exactly, yeah.
the the story of my company was it started um with me having to believe in myself because the people that were around me, thank you, babe. Can you plug it in? The people that were around me didn't necessarily support my vision. It's
Yeah, feel that.
um it was at a time in my life where I started painting. I didn't really know anything about painting, but I felt like painting because it was like therapy for me.
Dude, I get that.
I was creating something, and not only that, but if I was frustrated, I was rolling out walls and I felt better,
It's
and
meditation, right? It feels like a meditation.
totally my therapy, and it allowed me to really um be very creative, and when I would go into an apartment, say, that was like needing to be remodeled, it was a remodel, like it just needed to be painted, and you could tell that there was even kids there, but it was really dirty, and there was times where it was really sad too. It was hard for me.
Dude,
Um,
yeah, I get that part from,
Going to the apartment, say, and it was just really filthy, but and I knew that there was kids there, so
yes,
that
that part, dude.
super hard, because I'm very sensitive and I'm a mother.
Right.
But
Me too
we
in that part.
when we would leave, the energy and the paint it was like magic. It was like new energy, new feeling, and the owners were happy, and so it was really rewarding for me. And
Yeah.
moving into that, there was people that didn't align with my vision. They didn't think I could do it, or maybe
Challenge accepted.
you know, and because I was a woman in a male business, and it's kind of
Yeah.
always my kind of how it's always been for me, but I was like, this is what makes me happy. And I
Good.
wanted to have a woman painting company and then an all woman crew. And
Wow.
to support our women. I want women to be strong by me. I'm a strong woman. Come and be strong with me, to be independent. Of course, we need, like I said earlier, there's working on my car. I need my man's strong shoulders. I need his support. I need him at times to help me with the things, and he needs my help to help him with the things. But really wanted to empower our women and empower myself and show our daughter that her mom could do this, and that if she ever wanted to do anything in her life, she could do it. She's the only one that would hold herself back. And
Mm.
because she witnessed so much, she's so intelligent. She listens to herself. I mean, she's so much more than what I was when I was her age. But that's what I we want, right? We want our
Technology.
we want our kids. No, it's not even that. It's not. It's not even the educational piece. It's the spirituality piece, the knowledge of life. because she's gone through so much. She is very aware of a lot of things that I was not aware of because I talk to her, I communicate with her. So that's another important thing, communicate with your kids, talk to them, and really let them know because when I was younger, it was always, oh, I'll tell you when you're older. Oh, I'll tell you when you're older. And when
Right.
I was gone, you know.
But then yeah, me too. Like, tell me in, hey, please.
And
Oh my god. Okay, we're not talking about the past. If you want to share stories, war stories, we can do it another time. If you want to now, it's all good. But yeah, we've all had our past episodes in the darkness, and this is the greatest lesson, the greatest gift to the alchemized light to teach, like you're doing. Yeah, very, very, very like freaking insightful message that you are to your child. I see that. And I want that to be seen to the world. It's a spiritual aspect. Maybe I don't even like the word spiritual, just the connection with yourself and nature that
yeah,
these kids already know, but they like just need to be remembered. The remembrance of how to explain it because they don't know the words yet.
yeah,
They're trying to
they,
teach them ABCDs and King's English or whatever. When I was younger, I was sent to a Catholic school. I got kicked out because I saw Mother Mary's dead or her ghost on the wall, and I told the kids, and they started to get freaked out. So I got kicked out, and after that, I was rejected from Cub Scouts. I wanted to do that as a kid, so they sent me to Indian guides. This was in Northern California, San Francisco area, and it's similar. It's not Cub Scouts. It was like we learned the ways of whatever tribe was gifting us knowledge back then. As like 9-year-old kid, we earned feathers and stuff here and there, and we're given names. My name was Sharktooth or something. That for some reason I don't know why, but like yeah, I learned at a young age a little bit. I love to go back and talk to whoever was the leader. That like what are they, Lakota? Are they this that? So like I feel for me on my journey, like it started there. And then I was adopted by the Red Set. I like to say when I met Doug and you guys and everybody at Talking Circle at Four Winds. Um, it feels good to be accepted. I've always lacked acceptance my whole life. I've always been moving and moving everywhere, different states, Cali to Texas to Utah. That was a cool shot. Mormons, polygamists, this and that. Like, what the heck? Racism in Texas? What the heck? In Colorado? Oh, nature. Wow. Curiosity of a child, my inner child hits.
oh yeah, I mean it's crazy because I feel like as Coloradans, we don't realize how precious. I mean, I do, but there's times where I still take. I mean, I partially live up in the mountains. I'm up there every day, so I don't take them for granted now. But there was a time in my life where like they're mountains. I'm
Yep.
used to, they're there. But there's also, when I go back home to South Dakota, there's no mountains there. So
What?
no.
That's what you go. So you go back there. There's no mountains in South Dakota. My mom's from North Dakota, so like that's more mountainy up there, isn't it? Or is
No,
it? Or is it?
I mean, I guess maybe depending on where you go, but no, there's like um hills, there's no mountains. Uh,
There's like just rolling plateaus and stuff, huh?
there's mountains in I guess that's a lie. There's the Black Hills. Um,
Uh,
but that's not where my res is. So
okay.
um I would go back home to my reservation in Pine Ridge.
Mm,
There mountains there. So that's what I was meaning. So then like when I'd be like, I miss my mountains, I miss our mountains.
yeah.
So I'm not taking things for granted, appreciating life and
I
um
I feel that. I just said that when I came back from Texas the other day. I was talking with a friend down there, and she was always like, "Look at the trees. We're in the city. Look at the trees." And I'm like, she was so like, astonished by the beauty of the trees in the city. And I'm like coming from Mexico and Colorado. I'm like, wow, like I didn't even notice that here. And, like I neglect it almost every day. I get that part. But when you're actually you can't escape it when you're engulfed like on a nature hike or something, like, or you're actually in there living on the reds like you are, whatever nature you resonate with. That's why I like grounding. I like keeping my shoes off during podcasts, going outside in the morning, sun gazing, stepping my feet in the mud or tierra if it's wet, if it's snow. Figuring there's a way. I don't want to eat frio cold, but before we go into sweat, sometimes there's ice on the ground. And I stand on it, and you have to stand on it and be like, I'm braced, I'm suffering for something. you
Part of
know?
that's part of what our Lakota way, that's it's interesting and it's beautiful because our way of life is very unique in that way where we put ourselves into we we go into voluntary suffering for what
Mhm.
we want and what we need. And
Which
it's
is
very,
very relatable to addiction, but it's not addiction.
I mean, there's always another way to view it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
always, yeah.
for me, um, when we go to Vision Quest, Hamblecha,
I'm
it's
glad you. How many days did you do? Did you do it?
yeah,
What, two?
too.
You okay? Okay.
What
That's
resonated for
that's
me.
that's very difficult to even do two. I don't know what I would do. That was what I was thinking, like two or three. But can you explain a little bit what a vision quest is? Because I feel like a lot of people get the wrong conception.
Well, it's, Vision Quest, Hamblecha is to cry for a vision. And, so we take away because we take away food and water. You know, people that don't understand this way of life is like that's crazy,
Right.
but what it does is it brings us closer to the spirit world. And you go up there with a purpose. You not even a purpose, you go up there asking for what you need.
It's almost like
And
you're lost going in there, huh?
you're having your own conversation with the spirit, and so it's very sacred, and it's very important to make sure that even speaking about it, or you know it's done with respect, because it
Yeah.
exists, and it's very beautiful because even though it is very hard, it's also one of the most beautiful things that I've ever experienced because within the craving for water, within the craving, I didn't really ever crave food. Water just surpasses everything.
Water's life.
Water is life.
You didn't drink water for 2 days straight. Wow.
Yeah. So, but and there's people who are like, oh, I'm gonna do three, I'm gonna do four. That's what resonates for you, and I think that that's beautiful. Um, I for me, it's about appreciating the little things,
Totally.
appreciating and how you never take water for granted again. You never take food for granted again. You might have been a picky eater, you ain't a picky eater now. You might have been
hmm
over there, you're gonna think about it when you're up on the hill.
You know
So
what's funny? What's funny is the little things. When I was in Mexico, you can't drink from the water fountain like you can here, like from your sink. So you have to get gyrofoams, the big jugs. And I ran out one night. I ran out of water in my gyrophone, and I didn't have any. All you have to do if you really want water, you have to boil it hot and then let it cool down. That takes out the whatever's in there. I think it makes you sick down there. But I was like, oh my god, I haven't drinking water like since this morning, and like so I can relate to it. I had empathy for like 2 days of that. Um, it's such a necessary sacrifice. We're what, like 93% like water is flowing through us, some kind of percentage in us. Like we're made of water. Like water is like Bruce Lee, like all that stuff. Without it, we wouldn't survive.
that's why
The
it's so important to talk good to ourselves. That's why it's so important. to be kind to ourselves because our bodies hold muscle memory, you
Mm,
know, different things that we've been through, traumas. And so then all of a sudden you're hurting, and you're like, what am I hurting? Why am I hurting? Why am I going through this? So it's important, pray to your water, talk good to your water. You don't have to pray to it, but talk good to it. You're beautiful. Thank you for helping me.
yeah,
And, it's been scientifically proven
yeah,
that
Dr. Emoto.
there you go. You know, just the crystals, talking good to water, then freezing it, the love that you put into it, boom, the crystals were beautiful. When you put hate into water, boom, the crystals were all distorted. But that's the same goes for us. We're so sensitive as individuals, even though we try to mask it with a tough shield, or and it's not even necessarily,
Right.
but it's just the things we've gone through have hardened us. So we have to
Mm.
talk to ourselves, be love, be water, be kind, and check
Both
yourself.
both sides are beautiful though. Though I've seen those water crystals from that documentary about Dr. Emoto. Well, something I can't remember the name way back in like 2002. But so both crystals of water in the microscope are both beautiful. The distortion's beautiful in one way, and the crystals that are perfectly geometrically perfect are beautiful in their own angelic way or whatever. And like I apply that musically. Sometimes I need to add a little distortion to my guitar to make it like resonate more with whatever frequency I'm trying to project. Um, if you said the word distortion, so like hey, so like I hate this part about something. Why do I hate it? I can express that through music, and then God or Takashila or Yahweh or whatever y'all want to call it. Um, well, the energy of the universe will transmute that for us. That's the beauty of music. I don't even have to like say anything. I can just play like whatever style and not it scream, sing, rap, whatever. It's everyone's gonna receive it in the way God was meant to Takashi or whoever they use receive it, right? Um, so I really resonate with that. And the word hate in general, like, is a tricky word. Like I hate the hate type thing, you know.
Well, it's the going back to that, it's the point that we as people get into patterns of talking bad to ourselves,
Hmm.
not talking bad to ourselves. So it's not even that the crystals being distorted isn't a good thing, but it just means that we have to remember and be cautious of how we treat ourselves because we've been trained to shame and blame ourselves throughout life, all these different ways to bring ourselves down. So just talking good to ourselves is really the point that I was trying to make. And there's beauty in the crazy,
Yeah,
you
yeah, lots of it.
know, in the darkness. And that's what
Mm,
I've learned in Hamblacha.
mm.
And it was very it was a huge eye opener for me, and it was very painful, but it was also very beautiful. But there's light in anything that you put your energy into. You
Yes,
can.
without darkness saying like, and if you want to go look back at one of the replays on the Gaia Gang podcast channel, the Doug Goodfeather has his episode of his Humblecha Vision Quest, and I'll speak what he said, not in his terms, but for me, he'll correct me. I'm sure if I say it wrong, but he said what happened when he went in there. He did a lot, lost hope for life. Like he had been at the bottom of the mud, the ringer, through all the things you could suffer, and he's like, I don't know my purpose. Basically, it's how I received it, and he did a lot of days, and something came to him like a grandfather, an elder, a spirit or something, and maybe just someone he actually knew, a spirit guide that had passed away, or whatever it was. And then a butterfly came or something, and a dragonfly came, and he said it told him to write the book, Think Indigenous, get it on Amazon.
Yes, yes, think indigenous. It's that's why this way of life is so beautiful because through the suffering comes beautiful things. And, you know, we we put ourselves through it because we love this way of life, and we love
Yeah.
the what comes from this way, and
It's
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 not
such a
that
difficult.
giving.
Sometimes giving, yeah, giving yourself and receiving yourself and all that, but like it can be such a difficult pace sometimes, because like I really love the darkness. Like I would prefer to be in the darkness than be in the light because I'm comfortable there. Like that doesn't mean like I am doing anything negative. Like this tattoo is the death moth, and it's an actual real moth, like that's down in South America and stuff like that. And like it's it's basically the butterfly of the dark. And so it's the one that carries the light and the darkness. That's why I put that here, because I really resonate with my darkness.
You know,
I
there's you know my it's that that person that used to come out a lot when I was having a hard time, when I was going through something, um and that's still a piece of me. I've just
oh
learned to I've learned to move in a healthier way, and to carry myself in a way that's actually about taking care of myself. But there's also medicine there, there's also good medicine there that's
mm,
about protecting yourself and
yeah,
giving yourself that balance, because that is the piece of who I am. But I've also evolved. I've evolved from that. So I am still I can still resonate with it, and I still can go back there at times and then pull myself back in. But actually sitting in the darkness, um in complete darkness for
yeah.
hours and hours, it does some it it's a different experience,
I
and it's
love
not.
solitude. It's my favorite thing. It helps me find my peace, right? And there's something about the attachment to. So if you saw the promo videos of this episode, we used Juice World, a Juice World song. One of her favorite songs. I believe I posted. If I was wrong, correct me. Um, we used Juice World for a reason. Um,
Yep.
I wanted to talk about that because I highly resonate with Juice, man. Um, he was an addict and he died because he loved being an addict, and he claimed it. But he was also a beautiful soul that like took 666 and flipped it upside down 999. He didn't even know what he's doing. He's like, he made his own version. He told it at the whole crowd. It's like 999 is my number because I just wanted to take something negative, which in numerology 666 just means love. It's not the devil, Satan. But he did something he didn't even know what he was doing. 999 means new beginnings and numerology, but like it could mean something to someone else, something totally different. And I highly resonate with Juice, man, and I love that we got to put that out there because back in my addiction, there was like Lil Peep, Existenzion, and Juice was my playlist, dude, and it would heal me because it would accepted where I was.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
you
I
explain
definitely.
yours. Yeah, can you explain like your attachment to Juice World music?
It's pretty heavy. I'm gonna pause fast. I have to use the restroom, so just give me 2 seconds.
I I saw Doug say something. I want to show it. How do I show it? Star show. What's up, Doug? If you're still out there, wopila, 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 con todo mi corazón. What's up, man? Your last show was so awesome, Pink. Uh, check out Screaming Genovese on all platforms.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No, no, no. I got to plug in some people. Check this out. Look.
Oh,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, he goes, he did the Star Wars. He's always such the best Joker, dude. Like, what's the ways?
When it comes to Juice World, that was one of when I was in my addiction, it actually kept me moving, to actually know that somebody else was putting out their feelings that I felt so so
Yeah,
connected to at that time, because I was dealing with my own addiction. I was dealing with my own abuse. And there was times that I would just go really deep into that, and it would keep me um it would keep me sane.
accepted.
I would
Yeah,
really paint to that music. I would literally be at home, and I would jam in the car, and I would sing every song. So it was just like Juice World was really, really, it hit me in a different way, to the point where you know it also had a way of keeping me stuck in my
yeah. But
mind,
the attachment to it,
because
creative attachment too. Like what?
I was also like, just I would be like, fuck it, I don't care,
Yeah,
those kind of things, and I would talk to myself. But then when I started healing, I didn't listen to Juice World for about 2 years,
same,
and
same.
because it would put me back into that mindset that I was just like
Yeah.
trying to move through. I was trying to move through those feelings, and I didn't want to go back to that. But now in
No,
my healing process, um, I can listen to it and it doesn't trigger me. I
you
can
can
listen
bump
to
it
it,
and paint all day, huh?
can go back to it if I want to, but I don't want to, and like I'll still get crazy,
Yeah.
still jam, but it's a different me because I've evolved, and so the things that used to keep me stuck, I've grown through. So even like being around alcohol, like I don't necessarily put myself around alcohol, but if it's around, I'm okay. You
Yeah,
know,
straight. Me too.
I'll
Yeah.
before, if I was around alcohol, there was a problem. Like, and it was because I didn't want to be around that. So
Mm.
because it would trigger me, you know.
Yeah, to remove yourself for so much so, right?
Sure, but now in my healing, I don't allow those things to affect me the same. It just doesn't, because I've
Ah,
so it's really beautiful because I can still get down to my juice when I want to, and it's still
right.
like, you know,
The juice is flowing, it's alchemizing in a new way. But it's also can be dangerous to even still like right now for me, like I was cruising down like Colorado Boulevard or something, just bumping juice with my subs and I was like starting to feel it way too much. And I was like, dang, I miss this life. I miss always going in about them perkies and this and the Zans. And I kind of miss that life, dude. I was like, I had to way to take my awareness of like the reality of I could like reattach
that's
to that toxic relationship with music and
that,
idolizing that culture.
yeah. And
Yeah.
living an unhealthy lifestyle is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? So it's not something that, like, even though it was maybe unhealthy to somebody else, that was still the lifestyle I was choosing to live. And so I
See,
was
I mean,
in it to the fullest, and it wasn't good and it wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't good and it wasn't healthy for my daughter. So moving through that was huge. Going, and that's why anything in moderation, like even now, I'll jam Juice World, but I won't hit it hard, because I'm still healing. I'm gonna forever be healing, because
it's like we get more
I'm a
sensitive as we heal, right?
I'm a very sensitive individual. I'm also a
Yeah.
warrior. Also gonna
Yeah.
fight if I have to. I'm gonna also go to battle if I need to. But I'm also okay with being sensitive, because being sensitive is one of my um greatest greatest characteristics, because I'm able
Mm.
to empathize with people. I'm able to be compassionate to people and really put my heart out there. And before I would give you this much of me,
I'm
because
glad you were what?
I was afraid
I'm
of getting hurt.
Yeah, that part, but like I'm glad you can express that. That's the most difficult thing to like realize who you are and the embodiment of the story, the power that made me, and express like my gifts without being like narcissistically like on a hilltop or like self righteousness. It's just character traits that like I have a gift and I can offer this to you. And you
Yeah,
just said that.
need to take it or not, you know? And
Take it or
that's
not, take it or leave it. Don't fly, let it fly.
yeah, and it's like I'm not for everybody, but who I am for, those people they know and I
Mm,
know. So my my what I want is to just put my best self out there and my not best self out there because they're both who I am and I'm
mm-hmm.
not going to me for nobody, but I am a good person, so we just have to stop. We have to
I,
get out of
I
our
would
own
I
way.
would I would say hold on. I would say you're a great person. You know why? I'm not people pleasing you. But you're a great person because to me the word good is, let's say I'm eating horrible one day and I drive through like a McDonald's and eat some like trash food. I love the fries are okay, the ice cream's good, but like I'm ordering. That looks good. Or how about we're at a cookout, the fried bread or whatever. That looks good. That's like good is an expression of something that's gonna give me like nutrients and supplements to my body and nourish me. Like it's a burger on the menu. Like you're not a burger on the menu. You're filled with greatness. Like that's how what I was taught by a counselor or like back in the day, like a psychologist, all this type of stuff. And he's a jokester, but like it's like funny how he said it. Um, and I applied that to my vernacular. Like I'm not an order on the menu. Um, I'm not good or bad. That's just polarity. I can be full of positive vibes or negative energy, like positive, negative, whatever. That's duality, right? I just thought that was funny though. Like good is just like a list on the menu at McDonald's. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's a funny one because I always get caught up in that. Because like what's good to me may not be good to someone else, or what's great to me may not be great to someone else. What's helpful to me or to them may not be helpful to society. It's a tricky
True.
mother effer, you know.
So true, but you know what? This is why it's so important, because somebody could tell you all of this stuff and you take what you need from it. Not
Lucia,
everything.
Lucia, do not go to McDonald's. You already know.
Hey, McDonald's.
Oh man, she gotta love Liz. I'm sorry, dear lady, that was funny. So let's go. Where we at? It
750.
don't matter. We can run it till you need to go.
Yeah, it's good. This has been really powerful, and in between, my daughter's been coming in and out with different characters on her face and she just being crazy, crazy Wichakpi, and I love
Yeah,
it and trying
that's
to
awesome.
steal the show, but
Yeah, she's trying to steal your show.
no, she's just trying to get in on the show.
Oh,
She's watching.
jump around if you want. I don't care. Red Nation, what's good? Whoopila,
Um,
whoopila. We love you. We love you. Con todo mi corazón.
yeah, it's awesome that you're learning Spanish. I like
Dude,
that.
speaking in a different dialect in a language and the expression is so much slicker and beautiful and like it has like triple entendres in each word. You already know this, right? Everyone should know this. I mean, went to at least one Spanish school. If you went to school, it lets you ditch. But like, I failed Spanish. I just lived in Mexico for like almost a year and learned my language while I was there enough to drive me coming across the entire country.
Well, that's the best way to learn a language is to be engulfed in the culture and engulfed in the language. Because, you know, other than English, a lot of languages are expression, you know, and it's
Right.
word expression. So a lot of our Lakota people, we speak with our hand. So, and it's not. There's sometimes not words to. It's hard to describe the words in English from Spanish from Lakota because it's it's just different. You know, it's the earth. You know, it's
Yeah, I learned a new word when I from my homegirl down in Texas. She's half Lakota, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. If I'll say it wrong. Titchilani. She'll correct me later if I said it wrong, but like that actually means I love you. I will suffer for you. It doesn't just mean I love you. It's deep. And how I suffer is my choice. I'll go to a sweat lodge if I need to, right? It doesn't have to be like crazy.
yeah. I mean, for me, I don't feel like sweat. I mean, I feel like there is suffering within sweat, but I like the heat.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it on caliente all day. That's why I like my taco spicy too. Dude, I love sweat. Like removes all the toxins. Like we're in there and we feel like a warrior tribe. I can't go and explain anything else because it's sacred. But like,
I love
Reddit,
like I could sleep. You know what I mean? Some
you
people
almost
get
fall asleep.
I feel like I could sleep, but I like to sing, so I'm like, oh man, I could just pass out.
I know. If you can sing right now, if I do the drum, maybe. I learned one song from this at Plant Magic Cafe. There's a Lakota. Um, I could try it if you want to. Correct me if it's wrong. Should I try it?
Go
You
ahead.
tell me if it's wrong since you're a singer. I don't even know the beat, but we'll try the heartbeat. Opinata casella hielo. That's what she taught me. Is that correct?
I feel like I feel like there's a familiar feeling there.
A familiar feeling. Yeah, maybe she twisted a little bit, but she was adopted, like legitly adopted, like had no parents, and they Lakota generosity took her in and taught her the ways. So that was her version of it. But like sometimes for me personally, when I'm singing a medicine song, if I don't know the words, I just hum them like because it resonates to your heart and your entire existence within.
Yeah, it does. You know, the Lakota language is beautiful. Our songs are beautiful. Um, you know, I'm truly just so grateful and blessed to be able to walk this way and to be able to teach our daughter, you know, how to
Yeah.
play as well, you know, and always encourage people to find the joy in what in your life and what makes you happy. And this is, and some people say, you know, this is a hard road to walk, but it's not a hard road when this is just the road that you choose to walk. You know, it's it's really it's beautiful. So I mean, there's always gonna be tests along the way, but I think that's life. Figure out the best way to move through it and um you know, a better way to see things, you know, because it opens you
Totally.
up.
You know what's weird? It's like a lot of the virtues of Lakota are very similar to Dharma. You know, Dharma from Buddhism. It's not actually Buddhism. It's just their virtues.
I've
But
heard that.
Lakota goes a little deeper. There's like Dharma's just like has a few of them like mindfulness, compassion, altruism, right tone of speech. But Lakota, like right meditation, that's one of them. Um, the Lakota virtues are generosity, humility, perseverance, respect, honor, love, sacrifice, truth, compassion, bravery, fortitude, generosity, like wisdom, like all of that stuff. And I actually have it saved on my phone, and like I could never pronounce these right now correctly, but it has them in the indigenous way to say them, which, like thinking Espanol is hard to speak, más difícil para mí, but try speaking Lakota. Like it's like these words. I'm gonna put them on screen. Tell me if you can see this.
Yeah, I can kind
Word.
of see them.
Let's try that.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah, they're.
screenshot it?
I should have screenshot it and sent it there. I could probably do that right now. Hold on. So I'll drop that. I'll drop that if I can figure it out. We keep talk while we keep talking. It's a good one. I think that I don't. You have to tell me. I don't know if that's Sitting Bull on there or not, but actually, a descendant grandfather to her grandfather is Sitting Bull, the one from Texas. I'm like, what the heck? You're like a little alternative white girl. Like, she looks like you would never know her half side. So beautiful. And she taught me that word. But I'm gonna try and drop this in here so people can see like what it actually looks like to read Lakota language. This is something I'm learning right now. So on the spot, where'd you go? Okay, we're just gonna do this. I don't know what happened. This is if I can get this dropped in here, it would be beautiful. Way to end this set. She totally inspired me. The greatest gift in life is for me is inspiration. I'm a junkie for inspiration. There she's. We'll jump back on. Not like that.
Whoops.
Okay, we lost you. It's all good. I'm trying to figure out how to drop this on at the same time, so it's actually a perfect alignment if you're blacking out in the right way. Not the old way. Those ways. Okay, documents here. I have the image. Let's see if I can drop it on the screen. So we're learning something new here for me. So thank you. I was telling them the biggest. I'm a junkie for inspiration. It's like one of those things. Like it's like if you can inspire my mind, like holy freaking crap, like beyond any words, like that is like the best gift in life. So you just inspired me to learn right now. If this works, it's a freaking beyond a miracle. So I'm gonna go to media assist. Let's add a overlay. I think that's it. Okay. Um
Let's see.
downloads. I don't know how this if this works, this is gonna be wild. Um I don't even really know what I'm doing half the time. So
One with the
ride away, roll with the flow. Um, so I'm gonna drop this one overlay.
yeah. You know, I do have to tend to the family. I still need to make sure the family eats and all that. So I want to just maybe give us like 10 more minutes, try to wrap it up because I gotta go.
That's
I
okay. I get it. We will figure that out. Maybe when you get off, I'll try and put that on the screen. And it'll be something I'll figure out myself for the future. So thank you for that gift. You know, the the gift that keeps on giving, generosity. I honor that. Um, and thank you for sharing your time. The most precious thing on earth is our energy, and our clock is ticking. The only truth in life is that we're gonna die. So thank you for taking 2 hours out of your life and dying slowly with me for a purpose. That and speaking, it's relieving and revealing your silence and your wisdom,
yes,
your lessons. Yes,
I was really honored, when you asked me to come on and speak, because um You know, it's not.
I was scared to ask you, dude. Like I already know you, but I was kind of scared. Like I was like, cause like you know how it is. Like, what is she gonna think of this? Like, like people told me the name is scary, like Gaia Gang, because it's a gang is a group of people. Like we're all the whole planet is one blood. Like we're all related, we're all indigenous to Mother Earth that comes to good for this book. Like so that's what I was saying. We're all a gang of Mother Earth. Let's come together, gang, and let's do something like positive, like for the abundance of the planet, the planet. You know. Um.
Own style. You bring your own style to what you're doing, and I think that's really beautiful because it's very unique. And it's not like
Thank
this
you.
person, like that person's, it's your own. You've made it your own. The words that you've chosen are your own, and it's how you resonate and want to express yourself to the world. So it's like, somebody wants to judge that, then it's because they're not looking at themselves.
Hey.
We have to remember to look at ourselves, and it's the hardest thing to do. But
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you even thought of me. It truly was like, oh wow. And then I got the butterflies and I was like, ah, but
Yeah.
ourselves is also good medicine, and hopefully somebody hears, this and they take something positive from it, and it helps them in their walk. That's the best we can do, is help each other and extend our hands, and that's what you just did to me. So Wopila Tonka,
Oh,
for
thank you.
you know
You want
taking in.
Wopila, Wopila, beyond the Wopila is eternal Wopila, big massive Wopila. Check this out. Do you want to see something dope? You
Yes.
inspired me. It might inspire you because the greatest thing is for me, it's like when I inspire someone, whether it's music or a life or art or just general spiritually, like, and I see it manifest. I'm like, wow. So you inspired me to do this. Let's see if it works. Can you see that?
I can.
What? Yo!
That's
It worked.
awesome.
How does that feel? You did
That's
that.
awesome. It's
Wow.
for people to um try their hardest to live by, virtues. And I think that comes from um our teachings to our children at a young age, their value system, honor, love, trust, loyalty. All I love all of these virtues because there are virtues, but I have my own as well. Um,
Right.
and
Loyalty is a
you
big one.
and I blend it. I blend them together to create, what I'm pushing out there to this younger generation as well, and um we have to keep our values strong and keep our boundaries firm so that, we protect ourselves,
Right.
protect our people.
Yeah, yeah. All the people, like beyond the subgenres of definitions and conditions, you know. Yes, I like how you do that because you're a painter also. Do you do art too, or is you just paint for work?
I do. I do art. I do beadwork. I do drawings. Anything that I'm pretty artistic. I'm not the best, but I love what I create. So, and I try to gift people some of the things that I create as well, so that they can carry a piece of me within them. And
Kakasha loves that creation, like loves to see it. It's create. You know,
and
that's something God, whatever you want to say. You know,
even within, what I create, there's always those mistakes, but isn't that exactly what we were talking about in life? There's no straight
mm,
road. So
no,
there has to be those twists and turns, because those add character, those add, personality, who we are, and ingrain certain things within us. And just like artwork, there's always gonna be a flaw that I see, but that's what makes it perfect as well. So nothing, just even that's one of the other things I want to put out there. If you're doing good, if you fall, don't feel like it's the end of the world. Pick yourself back up, dust yourself back off. you know.
Try it again. Shout
Oh,
out.
especially when you've been down and out and you start going on a good path and you start getting that momentum,
Mm,
something happens and then you feel like you've fallen again. And it's like, oh my God. And it makes you want to it makes you want to start those old patterns all over again. But these are the things that come to test us, to show us how strong we really are. So get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving.
right, all the things, the suicidal tendencies, the wanting to go back to addictions, the negative self-talk, negative harm, self-hurt, like all that stuff. I feel that I resonate deep. And the Lakota way really helped me paint my internal camino. Camino means path in Espanol. I mix them together. Uh, I'm an artist of many forms when I am, and I don't know if you do this, but I like to paint my internal red road with colors like around the red road. It's like almost like if I took an AI image or created a real painting and put it inside me, I could show you what it looked like, but it'd be nothing like that. But AI could probably do it. I don't know.
Awesome. I love that. I love that creative spark. Sometimes I have to really work hard to get that creative spark going, but once it's moving, it starts to move. And,
Hmm.
and I'm
And you
so busy.
gotta you gotta take that and flow with it until it's gone, and it'll spark again. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
For I think in our walk, and I feel like it's one of the things that is always the last on my list, at least because I'm so busy throughout my weeks, my days. But when I sit down and I actually start getting creative, it's one of those things that it's hard to put down,
Right.
because
You know
it's
what?
so
Hold on a second. I respect that you just put that like that. Because usually for me, always like as a musician, well, okay, let's example. I used to play guitar for a year with the band Crazy Town, and the main song on top Billboard charts is Butterfly. So you can make your own synchronicity that or whatever. It's kind of weird that uh, I would say that right now, maybe, maybe not, but like it's my life. That's my life. Shout out to Shifty, rest in peace, dog. Well, listen, he just died from fentanyl. You don't talk about addiction. He took his Xanax, so it's cut with fentanyl, and I know he didn't do Xanax, but anyways. Going back to what we were talking about, sometimes I'll run in circles and it all comes back to a point. Um, you were talking about painting, like music always used to be like die hard, ride or die till I fly. It's the first thing I'm going for, first thing I'm gonna do when I wake up, first thing on my mind all the time, all the time, all the time, never ends. I can't sleep because of it. But you put the thing you love to do for fun, the painting, maybe in fourth or fifth or seventh place, and your order of priorities. I honor and respect that. It can, and I already know, but I believe I know why you do that. Do you want to explain why you put it there?
Why do you think I put it there?
I believe Takashila comes first, or you come first, then Takashila comes because you have to call on spirit, um, and get right within, so you can protect your familia, your family, your daughter, yourself first and foremost, your community, and then go paint whatever you want.
Yeah, um,
Did I get it right?
it's very close. It's definitely there, because um within my healing, painting used to be one of those things that it was a must, it was a have to,
Yeah, straight
and
up.
because I was the provider, so I had to 100% be on top of it, be there regardless if I wanted to or not. And because of where I'm at in my life and where I'm at with my healing, and because I have a half side that also helps take care of me,
Mm,
I can put my priorities other places.
yes,
And definitely myself, my family, the great spirit, of course. You
great
know,
spirit all day.
that's
Yeah,
that's my walk, so it's always there, always there. When I eat, I'm offering, I'm thinking of the spirits when I'm in my walk every day. So, but it's me, my family, my community, also you, this is my time that I'm putting here for you and the people that are gonna listen.
It's also for yourself. Check this out, because
Sure,
you can go back and watch this and study yourself.
I want to do that. I
You
know
know,
to watch the other ones. Well, this is the thing. This is all coming from my heart, so I know how I feel. I'm aware of my
yeah.
in a beautiful way that I wasn't before, and you know, I just I'm very grateful to be here, and to be able to share and to listen, and you know, for the teachings that have come through this as well, because you have some beautiful teachings as well
Thank
that
you.
I've taken to take with me, and so I
Wow.
appreciate you.
Well, whew, that's a huge honor. Thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. Wolfing that for real. All my relations, all my dukias, and that's what that means in English. All my relations, like earth, wind, water, fire, ether, and all the animals and everything that exists to make life ethereal and unreal and beautiful. It's so much deeper than that, though.
It is because we're all related. We're all connected, in some way, shape, or form. And there's no mistakes with that. We are the
Mm-mm.
one that put barriers between us,
Right.
not not the Great Spirit. So, and that's one thing that is hard for some people to understand. We are the ones that have divided each other. We're the
Yeah.
ones that have been racist toward each other. We're the ones that allow pain and fear to keep us where we are, away from each other. One thing that I'll always take with me is that was a teaching from my mom is, if you don't risk everything, if you don't risk everything, you'll never know. You'll
Mm.
never, if you don't take risks in life, nothing will ever change. And sometimes taking the biggest risks means being completely vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you're open.
You
But
know
sometimes,
that's such a
Mhm.
genius. Your mom is such a genius, and you know why I can say that? If you have ever read the book by Rick Rubin, the famous engineer of music from the Beatles to Jay-Z, he has a book out there, and I read it, and it was like he said something very, very similar to what your mom just said. And he's one of the most impactful, creative, spiritual speakers slash artistic visionaries and successful people on the planet. So it's almost exactly what he said on a podcast and in that book. So yeah.
well, it's true. And, she was always trying. My mom's also been one of my biggest teachers as well, supporters, along with my ate, my dad, my ina, my ate. But, you know, she's always told me, been also my therapist, in
Mm,
many ways.
that's what's up.
So trying to counsel me through something and giving me that motherly wisdom. Sometimes I took it and sometimes I didn't, but, you
Right.
know, she's always been a great teacher to me. So also shout out to my Ina for always having my back. That's why I got my mom's name tatted on my back. 'Cause she always
Yeah,
got my back.
yeah. Hey,
Hey,
that's what's up, dude.
everyone's like, "Why you got your mom tatted on your back?" I'm like, "Cause my mom always got my back." Hello.
Well, you gotta ask me all these questions. That's so awesome, dude. I like that. I like that. I got myself tatted on my back. Basically, when I'm meditating in a jungle in Mexico, be a giant piece because I know I have my back before anything. Trust and believe. Creo.
It's beautiful to learn how to take care of yourself in a healing way, because there was something that my dad shared with me when I was in the thick of my, destruction. And I say that because I was slowly killing myself, slowly feeling like, my time on this earth was gonna be not it was gonna be cut short because of, circumstances. But my dad, I was telling him, you know, Feline, we Chakpi, I love her more I love her more than anything. and he was telling me at that time, "You're wrong. You need to love yourself." And I told him,
Bam.
I don't love myself. I don't even know how to love myself. I
Right,
love
that
her.
part.
And he told me, he said, "You can never love her the way she deserves to be loved if you don't love yourself." And I
Exactly.
was like, F you. I love
Uh-huh.
you. And when now in my life, I'm like, thank you so much for telling me that, because now I understand what he was talking about. Now I understand what you mean, Dad, because I do love myself now. And now I understand that you were right. So
Right.
our parents, they hopefully, can help us on our journey. Mine have been big supporters of me, but also, you know, we're not perfect people.
No, well, everyone's perfect in their own ways. It's just how you define perfect. Because nature is perfectly imperfect. Um, it's that's a funny thing. And there's no guidebook to being a freaking mom or dad. You just gotta figure that stuff out, right? It's just like,
Tell myself, I'm still learning.
yeah, always learning, always learning. That's one thing my dad taught me is you can never stop learning. Um, yeah, I was trying to find this image here of this since you taught me this beautiful trick I can use now to like help people visualize. I'm a visual learner and a hands-on person. I wanted to show y'all my tattoo without like taking my shirt off and being weird on camera. But like I felt like it's kind of like self-righteous saying I had a tattoo of myself. It was actually an artistic creation by Kiki from Porto by the Ink, who recreated my vision of what it felt like to be meditating in the jungles in a sound bath by my brother Petey, who does them in the middle of the jungles of Mexico. So it's not like an actual image of me. It's just like almost an AI representation of what it felt like to embody his meditation. I don't actually have me on my back. So I don't know why I had to clarify. Like it's some self-righteous kind of thing. Like, well, it's kind of weird, dude. What if you did have a tattoo of yourself, like just like on your arm? Hey, just a
You
reminder,
know
I
what?
love you. I love you. I got you, boy. I don't
Who's to
know.
say? And my mom always said, if you're pointing your finger at somebody, there's three pointing back at you. So, you
Oh,
know,
I heard that.
be to say that something is weird because, it's
It is weird, and we can all be weirdly accepted. So what if I
well,
point two? What if I point two fingers? Now there's three. What kind of arrows are coming at me? Wrong dots would hopefully say love corazon. Oh man. Have you
awesome.
heard that? You heard that one from Ramdas, the arrow thing when you're sitting at the dinner table, everyone's firing bow and arrows at people, and they're usually like projections of themselves and their traumas. Like it's someone said someone they're like secret, like invisible ones, and but he's sitting at the table shooting people like Cupid that love themselves. Ramdas. Yeah, it's a cute little expression he said from his wheelchair right before he died. Um, Yeah, great lessons. But yeah, you said you did have to go here. I think I'm almost holding you hostage from your time. Am I?
You're good.
Okay.
I still gotta cook. People are like,
Hey,
"What? It's really late." Well, we're a night family, but still gotta feed the family. My
yeah,
stomach's like,
yeah.
meh.
You just reminded me of food waiting right here across the computer screen. So that's perfecto.
Address.
Yeah, so hey, go ahead and drop in your comments your or send it to me in DM, your webpage and all that, your websites, any links that you want to send, GoFundMe raisers. I already put the Lakota Healing Way website link up there. But your clothing company, I'll drop it in the comments if you DM me that link. if you want, whatever you want me to support you for your family, for your beautiful daughter, and the people that you generously serve altruistically, which I've seen. So I will put that in there. Whatever you send me.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. And do you want me to send it in the chat or send it to you personally?
DM.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
will. Thank you, thank you.
Hey,
Thank you to
yeah. Wopila. It's like all reflection. This is like I love doing this. I don't know why I love doing this. I never saw myself doing this. I wanted to be freaking the Rolling Stones or something.
it's
So
beautiful and
thank you.
it's also a teacher for me too. So
Yeah,
um I appreciate your time as well and just allowing me to share a piece of who I am and putting it out there for people to see and hopefully that this resonated with you and um you know
it really did. Like allow me to like set aside the chatter at a talking circle and really like not get distracted and hear what you really have to say. There's more to come. Is there talking circle this week? Tuesday, right?
yes, yep,
Cool.
yep.
I may be there. I may not be because I got invited to something, but I'm sure I'll be there at some point. If there's anybody in addiction and AACA, NAHA, all the A's that don't like the way, it's a beautiful way. It works for a lot of people. Help me get to where I'm at. You can check out Four Winds Church. It's a recovery, nonprofit recovery organization that just like is so beautiful. It's Lakota Native based. Four Winds Native American Church, right? Fifth and Bannock, Denver. It saved my life, helped me save my life. Like I didn't know what to do next. The AA didn't work for me. There's too much judgment, too much all this gossip.
It works for some people, but it's this is a different way to kind of express yourself. And we feed the people at 5, start talking at 6. So, if you are feeling like you want to, try something new or you're needing people to connect to, and find community, that's definitely the place to start. We talk about different topics that help us fix things within ourselves that need to be fixed. So
Yeah,
it was
and
a pleasure
it's
to,
a great way to
yeah.
do it. And if you're not Lakota or any kind of Native American, it's okay. I've been accepted in the ways I've been accepted. It's all loving and generosity and not I'm not no shade towards AA or CA because that was the stepping stone that got me there to get to me right where I'm at now and be okay and accept myself. So wopila takasila, wopila wo. I'm gonna let you go now and feed the fam. Thanks for
Yeah.
feeding the webs with your wisdom.
I appreciate your time, bro.
Yeah, you too,
Get
también.
all right.
Nos vemos. Maybe I'll see you soon.
All right, Doksha. Okay, wachia kinte. See you later,
Peace.
Doksha.
Doksha. Thank you.